The origin of this little stone bench is the subject of much debate. You'd think it'd be pretty straightforward. After all, it's not like the Druids came in and built this thing, but it turns out people remember things differently. Go figure. This corner of town, corner of Commonwealth and Highland, has been occupied since the late 1800s when it was owned by Herbert Ford, Fullerton's first grocer. These two cypress trees probably date from that era. That's about the only thing everybody agrees on. After that, the stories diverge. Some old-timers swear that this bench was made in 1939 by the landscape architect Carl Lutschg, who was brought in by the WPA, remember them from our last Fullerton walk, to do the beautiful stonework at Hillcrest Park. In the mid-1930s, this property was owned by Dr. Claude Steen, who converted the Ford house into his medical offices. In the summer of 1939, Claude Steen Junior, then a medical student himself, was home from college, staying with his folks in Fullerton. And according to a letter sent to the library's local history curator in the mid-1990s, during a particularly contentious stretch of bench controversy, Dr. Claude Steen Jr. said that he built this bench himself out of sheer boredom. Plus, he thought it would be nice for his dad's patients to have a shady bench to sit on while they waited for the bus. A few years ago, the trees were pushing in too much on the bench, and the entire operation had to be moved a little farther back, creating this lovely place to sit and watch the world go by. Not a bus stop anymore, but you can still watch the traffic, catch up with friends, have a cup of coffee, and this little bench has sure seen a lot of changes. If only it could talk.